Who's going? Raise your hand. No. Going today. Today you also go? You leave her alone here? The old lady? You both Saturday or you Saturday? She alone? Both. And why she raise her hand all the time? What's wrong? What's wrong with your hand? Terrible. Even your hand wouldn't listen to me. How would your whole body and your mind? So the going people can go. And the staying people can stay, huh? The coming people can come. I'm so tired, I don't know what else to say to you. Huh? No need? No. You can put it to people if they need. I'm just fine. I'm just fine. No hot and no cold, no fever. Are you happy going home? Yeah, happy going home? No? But we cannot always be together. That's the problem, huh? Even if you are with me, I'll be leaving. I'm born under a lonely star, you know. I cannot stay with anyone too long. Even since I was a child, I already has to leave my family. Not by my choice, by destiny. Since 3-4 years old, I'm already separated from family and come back again and again, but never could stay very long. I think that's why I can be a master, so-called master. If I am such a very emotional person, attached to emotion and family ties, I probably couldn't do my job very well. Yeah. It's not that I don't have any emotion or that I don't know what is family's love or friendship. I know it, but I cannot just be attached to it. Sometimes I like someone very much too, and I like to be with that person or those persons. And when I separated from them, I feel very miserable, very hurt, very lonely. But not for long. Not for long. I can bear it, and then I can forget. And that's a good part of being a master. You have nobody. Even though you say that when you leave me, you feel very bad and you don't reluctant to leave. But if I tell you to leave your family members to come here and stay always, you also don't like it. You see? So like this is good. You can come and go as you will. And you have also your families, and you have also me. Like this. You're not lost business. You're not losing business. Huh? Have profit, including one more person in your loving circle. It is difficult to break away from family's ties, even though you like to. You can go for a while, but afterward you feel terrible. You feel you want to go back again. You feel sorry, you feel responsible, you feel guilty for leaving them. Is that right? Yeah. You feel like you must do your duty. Yeah. It's okay. You go back home and take care of your family and friends. And thinking of them like God's relatives, God's children. and you take care of them like take care of God's children, then it's all right. Whatever you do, do it in the name of God. If you have to give to the beggar some money, and you just say, well, this is God's money, and give it back to God, then it's okay. You must think this way. You must act this way. You must move your life along this line. Then you will have never karma. You have no karma, binding karma. 有没有人不懂啊? Anyone who doesn't understand? Raise your hand. No? No English? No English? You are Thai? Hong Kong? Hong Kong, I don't understand English. It's bad English citizen. How come? 这干什么？这个会帮忙吗？会吗？这么厉害吗？黑也有用，我看。Even black color is useful sometimes. So everything is made for purpose. Huh? Even some things we think very bad, but in a proper use, they are useful. Like in our home, the toilet is the most unwanted place, but it's very necessary, you know. Therefore, we learn to value things in life accordingly, and not to judge rashly or blindly. Therefore, in the Bible, it is stated that judge not, so that you shall not be judged. Whatever we laugh at today, we will be laughed at tomorrow ourselves. So be careful how you treat others, especially your relatives. Even if they are very ignorant and do not understand your purpose of practicing Guanyin method, you should treat them courteously and nicely, because they are also members of the family of God. No one is exceptional. No one is not a member of the family of God. Even if they deny God, if they don't want to know God, they are still God's children. They are just like the naughty children, mischievous infants. They say they don't want to recognize their parents. But however, they have been born by that very same parents. No one can deny God. Long ago, there was a man who was an atheist, meaning who doesn't believe in God. He always denied God. He said, I never see any God. I never know God, and God never helps me. God is nowhere. So, even when he was very poor or sick, he never prayed to God. He said, it's no use. God is nowhere. I never saw any God. So when he was nearly dying, he was very sick and poverty-stricken, and nobody even approached him, because he was an atheist and nobody likes him, and he was very bad manner. So he was dying and with sickness and no money and starving. And there come, and even then his house outside, he wrote a sentence, God is nowhere. I mean, nowhere he can find God. So he said, God is nowhere. And then he was lying there waiting for death to approach him. And there was a child in the neighborhood who was very loving and very devoted to God. He came along and brought him some milk and some chapatis, Indian bread, and fed him. And so he was very touched, and he was revived. And then he was asking the child, what made you bring this food to me when nobody else brought it to me? And he said, God told me. I meditate on Guanyin method. and God had appeared to me in the form of my master and told me to bring this food to you until you are recovered from your sickness, until you can take care of yourself. And then the man say, but I have never recognized God. I never accepted Him. How can He take care of me? And the God say, you don't accept Him, but He accept you. And the boy, the man was still not, was very puzzled, and he said, but I have written outside on my door that God is nowhere. How come He still come? So the boy come out and read. I said, no, the God, God, the child doesn't know how to read, so he spelled G-O-D, God. I-S is. N-O-W, now. H-E-R-E, here. And he came in and report. Say, I read outside, God is now here. Yeah. So you see, since God is omnipresent, we cannot escape from God. So we might just well remember and submit our will to His will, so that our life has more meaning, and our purpose of being a human will be quickly fulfilled. If something is there and we keep denying it, it's a waste of time, right? And a waste of energy. We just naturally accept it, and that's it. And it's better for us, and it's better for God. If we always try to reject something when it's there, it causes a lot of trouble, a lot of pressure. Therefore, we will get exhausted and tired because we use our energy in a wrong way. Understand? You know the story of Tolstoy, when he was at home and he was kind of trying to go to become a monk or some kind of renunciate. And he was trying very hard. 你要不要去后面找一个人翻译？啊？听懂一点。But he was trying very hard, and he was thinking how he can convey this message to his wife. And he was thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking all the time. And that makes him very tired. Because thinking also, I would say, taxes your energy, right? So he was thinking all the time. And at last, he summoned all his strength, all his, leftover energy, and he wrote a letter to her. And after he wrote that letter, he has no more will to go. Too tired. He used all his strength. Yeah. The same with us. We cannot deny God. We cannot try to make any excuse to say that there is no God, because we don't see it. Especially for us, we see sometimes. God is not necessary to manifest in a form, a solid form, but in a form of light or sound. And if He ever manifests, then He would choose a human form to convey His power, blessing, and love. So if a master, a living master, is on earth, and that master has realized God, then God always used that form to appear to mankind, to whomever believes in God, whether initiates or non-initiate, whether have seen the Master or have not seen the Master, whether know of the Master photograph teaching or not knowing Master photograph and teaching. Therefore, many people who has never seen the Master sometimes also saw Master in meditation or in dream or in time of accident or disasters, trouble. Yeah? That is the reason. Otherwise, why should God choose any other form? You understand? It's easier for God to manifest in someone who has become one with Him. And it's also more logical for people to understand. Also to let people know that that one has realized God. That is for sure. If you want something, you come to that one. That's why God manifests in that kind of form, to confirm to people who has realized God, who is the living Master. That's the only purpose. Otherwise, He could manifest in the form of a mango tree, perhaps. Yeah? Or a dog or cat. He may do that, if He chooses to do. But there is no purpose in this. It doesn't serve very well. Therefore, He manifests in the form of the living Master. Therefore, whenever a Master is on earth, then we say that is God. Yeah? That is God made flesh, or the Word made flesh and live among us. That is God, living God, a walking God. And we come to that to appeal for our wishes and our desire to be fulfilled. So even if we do not see any form of God, God appear to us. But the Kuan Yin practitioner should know God is light, God is sound, God is our daily blessing and loving and protection that we feel all the time around us, and especially in time of trouble. So it's no use wasting our energy and time to deny that God is nowhere. Now, even if we don't practice the Kuan Yin method, we should know that there is God. Otherwise, who looks after the trees, the birds, the water, the air, the mountains, even the rocks, the earth? Who made them exist and who make them continue to exist in this way, in such a very convenient way for us to use every small particles of the earth is an offering to mankind and to all kind of living beings in this world. The trees is even doing its purpose, you see. Without these trees, we couldn't sit here comfortably and coolly and feeling so refreshed, because the trees, they radiate oxygen, yeah, a kind of very reviving atmosphere. There are some trees even better than other trees. Like in India, they have a kind of tree called neem tree, and they have very, it has a healing power. When you sit under the neem tree, many kind of sickness will be lessened or healed. And you have fever and you sit under the neem tree, you feel better, refreshed. So many of the ashrams in India, meditation center in India, they would plant neem trees around them. And many of the so-called Indian sages and saints, they would make their abode under the neem tree, or they would sit under the neem tree to work, or to talk to their disciples, or just to meditate or refresh themselves. And the Sakyamuni Buddha, probably he couldn't find a neem tree, so he had to sit under the Bodhi tree. Probably at that time he didn't know about the neem tree. Nobody told him. Yeah, I had been in India for a long time, almost a year before I know the neem trees qualification, quality. Yeah, I didn't know immediately. If If some master hasn't told me, I wouldn't have known. But in India, many people know about the neem trees. Most of people know. And I call it neem chi. Chi means great. Yeah. The name, the suffix chi only is added to those holy person and great personage. And they add it to the tree. And they add it to the Ganga too. So Ganga chi, neem chi, sometimes stone chi. Chi. So if I stay in India, maybe I become CHINGHAI chi. Yeah, when I was in India and I wear saffron robe, they call me Maharaji. And some other place called Bhagwan chi. And some other place call me what? Devadanta chi, Devi chi, I mean goddess. Or else they call Paramhansa chi. So when people ask me what's my name, I put them all together. Because I didn't know what it was all mean. Everybody called me different, so I say, my name is Maharaji, Bhagavanchi, Paramhansa, Devadanta, Devi, Bhagavan, what not? Huh? Guru, what else? Is there any other name? Dara-dara-dara-chi. Yeah. So many chi. Yeah. Huh? Babachi, Maharachi, Chara, what? Devi-chi, Mother-chi, all kind of thing. Oh, chi. So in this world, everything has its place and purpose. So we could not go around saying what is good, what is not good. We don't really know. Even though in the field of medicine, there are so many herbs that in some country are very well known and popular and much widely used. And in other countries, they are completely ignorant about it. And even some poisonous plant sometimes will be used for some healing purpose. So until we know everything, we better not accuse anything, or blame anything, or criticize anything. Because God is very wise. God is very wise. When God makes everything, it's for some purpose. It's just that we don't know. Therefore, many people look at this world as miserable, as a great temptation, but some other people look at this world as a school, as a good school for training. It depends on our mental attitude. If we are very wise and practicing well in our method, and we feel this world is good, it's good. I used to feel this way. I used to. Until I have so many disciples. Then their view become my view. It is true. Because of being worried over you, I become like you. It's true. Last week, there was one of my disciples' girl. What is this? Ice cream? Sour. Heavy karma. Sour karma. I have to accept it. Everything comes from God. And go back to God. The poor God. Create sour thing. What is that? pamplemousse, grapefruit, and lemon juice. And grapefruit, yeah? When it's cold, why you put so much ice in it? Is it grapefruit ice cream or what? Just grapefruit? Put in the freezer and become ice cream. And it's even sour than before. All the sweet become crystal sugar and all the sour stays. But it's good. Yeah, you get used to it, bad things. But bad things slowly get used to. I cannot drink with ice too much. You don't have a Stroheim? I'm so thirsty. I'm doing like this, I will be more thirsty. Waste too much energy drinking. Wow. The red kind is even more sour. Okay, so where were we? See if it's... Huh? Yeah, it's true. You know, last week, one of our disciples' daughter has been in trouble. The daughter is not initiated. And she had the kind of boyfriend who ran away when she was pregnant. And then so the family also ran away from her. And she's young and helpless, you know, and having no money and no work at the moment. And because of first delivery and so much strain and anxiety, so she had a very difficult labor. So they had to give her operation. And the families, nobody came to help her, you know. And finally the mother came. But the mother was stuck with her and couldn't get even food to eat. And she called all the children to come. And some of the children are our disciples, but the bad ones, run away from us, the runaway disciples. She called her to come and help them, at least to take care of the food problem because they're vegetarian. But then nobody came. No children came to her help. And she was lamenting. I have born so many children and now no child is here. And they're all very grown up and they could do something, but they didn't. They weren't willing to do it. They thought the girl was bad, having a baby without marriage and things like that. And the father was also a bad temper man, you know. If he didn't kill her, that's already good enough of him. Never mind coming back to take care of her. So, but after I learned all this thing, and I was feeling very bad, you know, for the child, for the baby, and for the mother as well. So I immediately arranged that the father also come to the hospital and help the mother and the child and the grandchild. I said, it doesn't matter what she did. Yeah, she's still your child, and now she's in great trouble. She needs you most, especially parents and families' love. You cannot ignore her because of her past trouble. Yeah. But I had the difficulty to convince them that it is right so. It must be done. Because they couldn't believe it. They say the girl is wrong. Why should I help a wrong person? You understand? It was her fault. It's her karma. She has done it. She has earned it, and she deserved it. And it's sometimes the practitioners in a different path, or from different master, or from different angle of enlightenment, they see things in an unclear way. You understand? They see things halfway only. They think right conduct is right and wrong is wrong. There is no flexible gap in between. It is not right so. So I have told them to come, give them some money, and told them to drive quickly back to Taipei and take care of that child and the baby. Okay. But in between time, when I'm trying to arrange things and convincing them, I was like on fire, you know. I was thinking of the girl over there having difficulty and going through suffering. When you have a baby, you already go through a lot of suffering. And especially when you have operation, and then you have been abandoned by the loved one, and the family members all ignore you. Can you imagine the suffering? So much. Double, treble, and tenfold more. Therefore, my heart was kind of on fire, you know. I identify myself with her own suffering, and I was suffering a great deal. I suffered before that, before knowing the story, and after I know the story, I suffer even more. Yes, sometimes when we practice very well, we have some kind of sympathy in our heart, then anybody's suffering become our own suffering. And we could not run away from it until we do things well, until we take care of that person well. Especially when that person has some connection with us in some degree, or through their relatives, or through our disciples, or through fellow practitioners, we become more sensitive to their suffering. And truly, I have become like that girl in the hospital. I was very much suffering, because I understand how much she has to suffer. He has no money, no job, nobody to take care, and the mother alone and kind of blaming her all the time. You understand? I told you, you shouldn't have done this, you're lousy, and all that, probably, you understand? And that doesn't help a person who is in great pain and sorrow. That's why I was burning with worry. And from here to Taipei takes 2 hours driving. But it seemed so long for me. I wish I could fly up to the hospital and comfort her immediately, let her lessen her fear and suffering. Because she also fear of her father. The father, if he comes home, he would beat her up or with words, you know, slashing with words. And she was very worried. So I had to, meanwhile, thinking of something to ease her burden. So we had to again phone her and tell her that the father is coming, okay, but coming with money and love, not with blame, so she don't have to worry and have no heart attack when he suddenly appear on the delivery room. Yeah, it could be, you know. So I explained to them everything. I say, well, whatever she has done is done, and she's a young girl, doesn't know how to protect herself, and the society is full of bad people. Or sometimes it's not necessary they are bad, it's just a situation. Or maybe his family doesn't allow him to marry so young, or marry, or whatever reason, so many things that make people, force people to a situation to do bad, you understand? Or to be irresponsible. So I say, this time she is having a baby, and if you are treating her very badly, she might have shocked and die, or have severe after birth, after labor, illness. And this is not a proper way to treat a human being, never mind is your daughter. So I had to talk to them many times before they understand. Yeah? When you have a baby, if it's not properly cared, you probably have problem. Yeah, you might die. Yeah, we have after labor sickness or death. Is that right? It's a very dangerous time. And if everybody abandon her and she's so young and don't know how to take care of herself, it's even worse. Yeah. Of course, I couldn't go around and take care of all the labor people in the same situation because I don't know, and I couldn't reach them all. But if I know, I have to help, and I feel like I am the one who suffer. You understand? I couldn't wait for them 2 hours to drive from here to Taipei. I feel the time is so long. I had no patience. I was pacing up and down my room and thinking what to do. Yeah. But luckily we had telephone and we could contact, so I conveyed the message to the mother and the girl in the hospital, and that eased my burden a little bit. it is true that we become identified with other people when we know they are suffering. That is very much. Okay, 1:30. I think you better get yourself together and get your luggage and get ready, huh? Go to the bathroom, looking at the mirror, put some powder, perfume, huh? And then ready to go out and show yourself up to the world. Have all my best wishes, huh? Okay? And see you again, if God's will. If God will so. All right? Any question you want? Last question before we die? You want to ask anything? Good question? Huh? No? Then what else can I do? I will drink the grape juice. Mais non, s'il vous plaît, huh? Can you see a master drinking with a straw before? It's terrible. You saw that picture outside. What do you think what will happen? The straw company will all rush here and get my photo for the advertisement. Yeah. Then it might happen that I earn a lot of money. And you know, money ruins people. I might have to resign my job to become a model, fashion model for Stroheim and cool drinks. Yeah, it's very unlikely. But if people offer me $100 million, I might say no, but $1,000 million, who knows? Who knows how far is my limit? So better not tempt me. Do you remember the story of the monk with the beard and the donkey's tail? Yeah, he has to wait until he dies. He is on the deathbed to make sure that he is worthy. Yeah. So, I better not expose myself to temptation. It's not bad. Like fruit punch, you know. That's why. Makes noise. Yeah, everything empty makes a lot of noise. Terrible. I know a trick. Yeah. Yeah. To melt the ice. In Singapore, there's a good drink, fruit punch. You know, airport things are normally very lousy, but Singapore airport has a good drink, fruit punch. Next time you come from Singapore, remember, bring me a fruit punch. Yeah? They have some in the bottle, already shaked. Oh, this is no good. You see? Nothing here. When there's something, there's no noise. That's it. I have done my job. Yeah, I have pressure because of the people's high expectation, you know. If they just leave it naturally, yeah, and I can come whenever I'm ready, it will be better for them and for myself. You know, thoughts are very important, huh? Very powerful. Is there someone who don't understand English? Existence and quality of God, so that at that moment, or at least, you know, when we meditate or when we remember God, our thoughts are holy. and pure and unconditional. You understand? So we don't create anything bad. Only holy vibration and powerful blessing. So when these powerful blessing and thought power are generated around us and within our environment, and then it rise up, and then other people who are also holy and practicing, they also generate the same thought, same blessing, same power, and like attract likes, and these attracting each other and make it become very powerful force which defeat all the evil, negative influence in this world. And that's how the world will become purified and improved day by day. That's how we help the world without having to do charity work even, without having to go out and preach. Yes, of course, when we go out and preach, we bring momentarily some high vibration into the minds of the audience and rise them up for a while, or maybe permanently, or maybe for a long time. And maybe this person go home and then they carry this vibration with them and they nourish them and they become stable in this holy atmosphere, and they grow holy too, pure and stable. But it takes a powerful person to do that. Otherwise, we are not influencing people. On the contrary, we'll be influenced by them, because the majority of the people are many more minds put together, and we have only one. If we're not strong enough to cover all the minds up, then they will engulf us, yeah? Yeah, and we are in danger. Nevertheless, we do not need to do that. We could just sit in our corner, a quiet corner of our bedroom, and send out good thoughts, good vibration, powerful blessing into the world and the universe at large. That's why we must meditate, in order to purify our thoughts. Every time we remember God, every time we remember the holy names of God, we are empowered with this purity, holiness, and blessing. And whoever in the same consequence, same level with us, will be united with us at that moment. And we add it to the force, to the positive force to purify the world and to make the world better and better place, and to help those people who have similar minds with us to be more enforced, and to help those who come in contact with our thoughts, come in contact with our presence, to have more power, yeah, to rise themselves up. That's the best way to help the world. Of course, when we help the world, we help ourselves, because we're living in it. The cleaner the atmosphere, the better for us even, not only for our neighbors. Yeah. So helping others is helping ourselves. So every time we should generate a very pure thought, unconditional love and goodwill, all the time, without wanting anything in return. This is the best way. Even if we have not reached the holy stage or very great Bodhisattva or Buddha stage, at least we keep ourselves pure and uninfluenced by the negative power around us. Because in the world, many people who do not practice goodness and who do not have real faith in God, they generate bad thoughts all the time. And they make the environment filthy by their own thoughts and deeds, and even speech. And if we are not covered by a holy shield, by our own mental protection, and by our own purity and goodwill, then we will be drowned by this massive negative power around us. Understand? That's why we must always repeat the holy name of God, which is charged by the master power at the time of initiation. That's what we call spiritual lineage, or dharma bloodline. If we don't have the bloodline or the spiritual lineage, we repeat the names like an empty word, has no power. Truly it is so. It is just like material well-being. A person who has no money cannot give other people's money. Even though he signed a check, it will be an empty check. No support, no bank account supported the check. Similarly, the spiritual empty person cannot charge other people with spiritual power, cannot revive other people's spiritual power. Even though the spiritual power is invisible, but it is existing. It must exist in order for a saint or master to reawaken in the people, within people, their own spiritual power. Otherwise, it cannot just suddenly stand there and make fire by themselves. Understand? Even though fire come from the wood, but it needs something, or it needs another firewood to burn it, or to make the fire within itself develop. Similarly, a master is the one who has developed her or his own spiritual power, which can influence thousands, millions, and the whole world and the whole universe. The stronger the master, the larger the influence. And this we can know by coming in contact with that master. We feel very calm when we sit with the spiritual master. And if we go out with other people, some people are evil-minded or very fierce. We feel very restless and frightened. This is the invisible influence of the inner being, which we cannot tell, but we feel. So, accordingly, we try to live up to the master's standard. So we meditate, we try to purify our thought. The best thought is no thought. Therefore, if you repeat the holy names of God, that's enough. That's the best thought. They're very neutral, very holy, and very powerful. At that moment, you have not the need to invoke the daily mind. You understand? The mundane mind. Because however good we think, sometimes it is still conditioned by the customs of the country, by the habits of the mass of our people, and by the society trend, the trend of the society. Therefore, the best thought is that we just think of God, because God is almighty, powerful. God can do everything. That means at that moment we submit our will to God's will. Let God rule the universe, and we feel
Yo odio decirles muchas cosas y hay muchas cosas que debería decirles, pero creo que es mejor que no se las diga.
Yes.
Sí, así es.
Difficult to say things which don't belong to this world.
Porque es muy difícil decir cosas que no pertenecen a este mundo.
Difficult to say things that you have never heard before.
Es muy difícil decir cosas que ustedes jamás han oído antes.
If I say some things, you might misunderstand me.
Si yo digo algunas cosas, tal vez ustedes no me comprendan bien.
Therefore it's difficult.
Y por lo tanto es difícil.
For example, if I tell you the master is very difficult to see, it's difficult to meet, and you probably think, oh, she wants us to praise her, appreciate her.
Por ejemplo, si les digo que la maestra es muy difícil de encontrar o de ver, posiblemente ustedes digan, la maestra solo se quiere dar como importancia.
Or if I say to you, if you be in the presence of the master, it is even better than in meditation. And then you say, she needs us. She wants us to come see her every day.
O si les digo que estar en la presencia del maestro es mejor que meditar, ustedes van a pensar, ella nos necesita y lo que quiere es que vengamos a verla todos los días.
When I say master, I don't mean me.
Y cuando digo el maestro, no me refiero a mí.
But I just mean the general title of that kind of level of a special being.
Me refiero al título en general del nivel de esos seres especiales.
But since I am the only one here, it's difficult to avoid the message.
Pero como yo soy el único maestro por aquí, pues es difícil impedir que sea conmigo.
A master is not necessarily means me. It means many other persons who are who reach this level in the past, in the present, and in the future.
Maestro no significa necesariamente yo, significa todas las personas que han alcanzado este nivel en el pasado, en el presente o en el futuro.
Just like the one who graduate in doctor degree, medical doctor degree, or philosophy, psychiatry, yes, psychology, and any other field of science.
Es como cualquier otro que se haya graduado en medicina o en psiquiatría o en psicología o en cualquier otro campo de la ciencia.
So when a doctor say, oh yes, you must go and see a doctor if you have this kind of sickness, and only the doctor can cure you this sickness. It doesn't mean the doctors feel very proud. The doctor just say the truth. And the doctor doesn't mean that she or he alone. He just means any other doctors which has this special qualification to cure our sickness.
Es como cuando un doctor nos dice, tenemos algo y un doctor nos dice, usted debe ir donde un doctor, porque solo un doctor puede curar lo que usted tiene. Él no necesariamente se está refiriendo a sí mismo, se está refiriendo a cualquier otra persona que tenga esa misma calificación en el campo y que es capaz de curarnos de esa enfermedad.
When the master gives us something, anything at all,
cuando el maestro nos da algo, cualquier cosa, nos ofrece algo,
it's not the thing itself.
No es la cosa en sí.
It is something else, invisible.
Es algo más invisible.
Which is through the material way of expression, through the material things, we convey to us something else.
Que viene a través de la cosa material que nos está ofreciendo y que puede llegar a nosotros a través de la cuestión material que nos está ofreciendo.
And these things are very precious.
Y estas cosas son muy preciosas.
So if we happen to eat these things or to come in contact with these things, we feel a change in our life.
Y si nosotros nos comemos estas cosas o entramos en contacto con estas cosas, sentimos un cambio en nuestra vida.
Or sometimes through the spoken words, the Master awakens in us something which is unspeakable.
O muchas veces a través de la voz, a través de la palabra, el Maestro despierta en nosotros cosas que son innombrables.
Or taken away from us something which we do not need.
O nos quita de encima algo que no necesitamos.
Which is a burden to our soul.
Que es una carga para nuestra alma.
Understand?
Entienden.
The Master gives and takes.
Entienden, el Maestro da y toma.
The Master gives what is good for us and try to take what is harmful to us.
El Maestro nos da lo que es bueno para nosotros y trata de quitarnos, trata de tomar lo que nos puede dañar.
But sometimes it's difficult to explain all these things.
Pero muchas veces es difícil explicar todas estas cosas.
The job of the Master is difficult.
El trabajo del Maestro es difícil.
Now, if the Master gives us something, we probably think, oh, it's candy. I can buy them, it's nothing. It's too sweet for me, even. I don't like it.
Tal vez si el Maestro nos da algo, pensamos, un caramelo, esto yo lo puedo comprar. O tal vez pensamos, es demasiado dulce, a mí no me gusta.
So, and when the Master says, give me something, or give the Master something, you will think, oh, she needs our things.
O cuando el Maestro nos dice que le demos algo o nos pide algo, nosotros seguro pensamos, el Maestro necesita de nuestras cosas.
That makes it difficult. That makes the job of the Master difficult, because what we understand is something that belongs to this world, and what the Master teach and try to bring into our understanding belong to something else, belong to a higher order of the universal civilization.
Esto es el trabajo del Maestro, es muy difícil porque lo que el Maestro trata de darnos no pertenece a este mundo y nosotros no lo entendemos, sino que procede de un orden y de una civilización muchísimo más alto.
Therefore, it's very difficult to teach the people of this world.
Por eso es muy difícil enseñar a las personas de este mundo.
Sometimes the people understand literally.
Muchas veces las personas entienden las cosas literalmente.
For example, when I said at the time of initiation,
por ejemplo, cuando en el momento de la iniciación digo
that you should do everything in the name of the Master.
Que debemos hacer todo en nombre del Maestro.
Just like you give donation, you do charity work, you should do it in the name of the Master, and then you have no bad or good karma. Then you are free of the obligation.
Como cuando les digo que deben hacer donaciones o hacer la caridad en nombre del Maestro, porque entonces su bueno y mal karma queda libre de obligaciones. Ustedes quedan libres de obligaciones.
And then the people some people would go and give donation or charity, do some charitable work elsewhere, and put my name on it.
Entonces la persona va a hacer alguna caridad y le pone mi nombre así como al sol.
So I have to tell them, no, don't do that. If you give and you put your name.
Y entonces yo tengo que decirles, no hagan eso. Si ustedes dan, pongan su nombre.
I only mean mentally.
Yo solo me refiero que mentalmente.
That you should always do things without ego, without thinking that we are the one who does it, and we should do it just like we are a trustee of the property, and the master owns the property.
A lo que me refiero es que ustedes deben hacer las cosas sin ego. Es como si nosotros fuéramos los administradores de las cosas, pero el maestro es el dueño de las cosas.
But it's not necessary to change all your house and your property and your bank account into the master's name.
Pero no es necesario cambiar su casa o su cuenta de banco, sus pertenencias y pasarlas a nombre del maestro.
Just like the same as you should take care of your children and do your business also in the name of the master. But you don't need to put your business in write the master's name on your company's title, and you don't need to change all your children's name into the master's surname.
O como cuando les digo que hagan su trabajo, sus negocios, o que cuiden a sus niños en nombre del maestro. No se trata de que le pongan el nombre del maestro a la compañía, o de que le cambien el apellido de sus niños y le pongan el apellido de la maestra.
Understand?
¿Entienden?
It happens.
Bueno, ha pasado.
Some people went and give some donation to a sort of charitable organization, and she put my name on it.
Algunas personas han ido a hacer donaciones a instituciones de caridad y le han puesto mi nombre.
Okay. Well, that's harmless, but I still tell them they don't need to do it.
Bueno, eso no hace ningún daño, pero yo sigo diciéndoles que no tienen que hacer eso.
Because this is material world. Whatever we do, we just do it. Yeah?
Porque este es el mundo material. Cualquier cosa que hagamos, simplemente hagámoslo.
You no need in a material, within the, we do it in the law of the material world.
Porque lo hacemos bajo la ley del mundo material.
But we keep our mind in a kind of spiritual field, in our heart. Keep it in the spiritual attitude. Keep it in the spiritual hate. Yes, in our heart, in our mind.
Pero debemos mantener en nuestra mente en el campo espiritual, en el nivel espiritual, nuestra mente y nuestro corazón.
Like this, we are not bound in the material bondage, but we are always free in our mind.
Y de esta manera no estaremos atados al mundo material, sino que seremos siempre libres en nuestra mente.
That's all, yeah?
Eso es todo.
So, I don't know what to tell you really. I'm sometimes very shy.
Así es que yo no sé verdaderamente qué decirles. Algunas veces soy muy tímida.
害羞嘛，害羞。你讲什么国语呀？啊？ He thinks I'm busy here, and he can just say what he wants over there.
Él piensa que yo estoy ocupada aquí y que allá atrás él puede decir lo que se le ocurra.
I just can translate what he likes.
Y que puede traducir lo que se le ocurre, lo que quiere.
And have fun, yes.
Y encima se divierte.
At my expense.
A costa mía.
And the expense of the THOÉI.
Y a expensas de THOÉI.
Okay. But he's not better. He can speak many languages.
Pero
He mix one with another.
el único problema es que a veces mezcla uno con otro.
And that's the trouble when we speak too many languages, yes.
Ese es el problema cuando hablamos muchos idiomas, sí.
It happens to many people.
Le pasa a mucha gente, sí.
Sometimes I also speak one or two words in German. I thought it was English.
Algunas veces yo también digo una o dos palabras en alemán pensando que estoy hablando en inglés.
And the people who speak English don't understand anything. And he was very surprised, and I was also surprised.
Y las personas que no entienden a alemán no entienden nada y se quedan muy sorprendidas. Y entonces yo también me sorprendo que no entiendan.
He was surprised that he didn't understand, and I was also surprised that why didn't he understand?
Porque la persona se queda sorprendida porque no entendió y yo me quedo sorprendida porque no entendió.
Okay. Yes, the same thing with practicing.
Sucede lo mismo con la práctica.
Because sometimes the master knows too many things.
Porque algunas veces el maestro sabe demasiadas cosas.
And we don't know these things.
Y nosotros no sabemos esas cosas.
And we are surprised to hear them.
Y entonces nos sorprendemos al escucharlas.
And we don't understand.
Y no las entendemos.
And the master sometimes will also be surprised.
Y entonces el maestro también algunas veces se sorprende.
That we don't understand these things.
De que nosotros no hayamos entendido esas cosas.
Yes. So we have to learn to understand each other.
Así es que debemos aprender cómo entendernos los unos a los otros.
Any question concerning my topic?
¿Hay alguna pregunta concerniente a esto?
Cuando yo estoy pensando los 5 nombres, con facilidad me puedo concentrar en el ojo de la sabiduría. Pero en la actividad diaria, quiero decir. Pero cuando estoy pensando en la maestra, que es casi siempre, o en lo que ha dicho, yo no sé dónde está mi mente o mi concentración. Es tan natural que no me acuerdo de concentrarme en el ojo de la sabiduría. Tal vez porque naturalmente está ahí o porque no sé. Entonces otra vez vuelvo a cambiar a los 5 nombres. Y después otra vez vuelvo a pensar en lo de la maestra. Entonces, quiero preguntar si me falta concentración o es que está naturalmente la mente puesta aquí. Do I have to translate or you? Go ahead.
Sometimes, every time when I'm doing, I'm repeating the 5 names in my daily activities. I'm repeating the 5 names, but this happens only when I'm not thinking about you, and I'm thinking about you almost all the time. I'm thinking about you or about your teachings. When I'm thinking about I'm repeating the 5 names, it is very easy for me to concentrate in the wisdom I. But when I'm thinking about you, I don't know where my mind is. It's so I cannot say where my mind is. So I go back to the 5 names, and I want to know if this is a lack of concentration or what is it?
When you think of the 5 names and you think of the third eye center, then your mind at the third eye center and at the 5 names. And when you think of the master, then your mind is with the master. And what is complicated about that? Huh?
Cuando usted piensa en los 5 nombres y en el centro de la sabiduría, su mente está en el centro de la sabiduría. Y cuando usted piensa en el maestro, su mente está con el maestro. ¿Qué es lo complicado?
Well, only when I see the photo, I receive many things, and then I feel very clearly the third eye. But every day, because I am thinking in the teaching or the master, well, I don't care about much about the third eye, only when I am repeating the 5 names. But inside I feel that I should also concentrate here in order to derive more benefit.
Then you think of the master over here. You don't. Where do you think? You can think here. No? Do what you feel more comfortable. Yeah?
Yes, maybe because it's more natural to think in the master. Then I don't feel that I am doing any effort.
Okay. Then you think. And when you meditate, then you repeat the 5 names. All right?
All right.
Que él siente, para él es mucho más fácil cuando está pensando acerca del maestro. Y él, ¿qué debe hacer? La maestra le dice que debe pensar en el maestro aquí, o que dónde piensa en el maestro si no es aquí, y que debe hacer lo que él sienta más confortable, que piense todo el día en el maestro, y cuando medita repita los 5 nombres.
But either way you feel benefited, no?
Porque de cualquier modo usted estará siendo beneficiado.
You can repeat the 5 names in the remembrance of the master.
O puede repetir los 5 nombres en remembranza del maestro.
We can do many things at the same time.
Podemos hacer muchas cosas al mismo tiempo.
Sometimes we can answering the telephone and thinking of our business also at the same time. So why not do it in the meditation?
Porque podemos, por ejemplo, contestar el teléfono mientras seguimos pensando acerca de nuestros negocios. Y entonces, ¿por qué no hacer una cosa similar en nuestra meditación? Digo, no en negocios, ¿verdad? Sino pensando en el maestro.
What is it? You scold him?
No. I say that why not to do the same when we meditate, and I say do the same thinking of the master and not thinking of the business.
But master, doing this job of meditating in activity sometimes is very hard. In certain atmosphere, I feel very tense here and here.
You feel bad?
Hard means that I have to put a lot of energy because of the atmosphere. And of course, if I come here or I stay at home, it's very easy. Anyway, I do it. But I feel sometimes that I have to put more energy.
Yeah.
Es que él dice que es más difícil meditar cuando se está en actividad, porque él siente más tensión y que tiene que poner más energía cuando medita haciendo otra cosa, que en cambio cuando medita, cuando está sentado meditando únicamente, no.
Cuando estoy meditando en cierto tipo de atmósfera, es más difícil que en otros tipos. When I am meditating in a good atmosphere, it's very easy.
Yes.
When I am meditating in activity in a bad atmosphere, then it's very tense here.
Yes. That I understand. Then, and I believe. Because we have not yet gone out of the influence of the material world.
Sí, eso yo lo entiendo. Es porque no hemos cortado todavía las influencias del mundo material.
But at least now we know that the material world has very bad influence on us and strong bondage.
Pero por lo menos ahora sabemos que el mundo material tiene una muy mala influencia sobre nosotros y que nos ata que tenemos ataduras fuertes con él.
Before we didn't even know it.
Antes ni siquiera lo sabíamos.
We live in bondage and feeling nothing.
Vivíamos atados y no sentíamos nada.
Just like a person who was bound hand and foot in prison, but he was out of conscious, he was collapsed. He was beaten to death or out of consciousness, and he didn't even feel the chain.
Es como una persona que está atada en una prisión y lo han golpeado tanto que pierde la conciencia. Ha sido tan golpeado que casi está muerto, pierde la conciencia, entonces no siente que está atado.
Now that you're waking up and you know that you're bound.
Y cuando uno despierta, entonces sabe que está atado.
And then we will try to find a way to free you.
Y entonces ahora yo estoy tratando de encontrar el camino para liberarlos.
Yes. That's why meditation center is necessary.
Por eso es que el centro de meditación es necesario.
Otherwise, why do you think I have to buy this land and other land, and I spend all my money?
Porque si no, de otra manera yo tendría que comprar esta tierra y otra y gastar todo mi dinero.
For you.
Para ustedes.
Otherwise, you could just meditate it in anywhere, and in hotel, and your house, and rent a place once a week or something is also okay. But it's not the same.
De otra manera, ustedes podrían meditar en un hotel o en algún lugar o rentar un lugar y meditar de vez en cuando, pero no es lo mismo.
Yeah. It takes a lot of practice to be at ease anywhere in the world.
Toma muchísima práctica estar bien en cualquier lugar del mundo.
But even then, we still feel the pressure.
Pero aún así, seguimos sintiendo la presión.
Even it may be just the bad air or the crowded atmosphere of a city.
Algunas veces es sencillamente molesta el aire viciado o malo de una ciudad.
That disturbs us.
Y nos disturba.
And we feel it through the body.
Y lo sentimos a través del cuerpo.
Yes, if you stay in a center when everyone has the same ideal, same goal, and same activities, then you feel different than when you stay in a place where other people do other things. And you meditate there, you don't feel the supportive atmosphere, you understand?
Cuando uno está en el centro, están las otras personas que tienen la misma meta, los mismos ideales y las mismas actividades. Es diferente que en otros lugares donde las personas hacen otras cosas y ahí uno siente más la presión, uno siente diferente.
Therefore, you see, in many centers in Taiwan, people would come to stay in a meditation center, but they would not stay in a private house of an initiate, even though that house were also full of initiates, family members, and also have many rooms available for them and many better facilities.
Por eso, muchas veces en Taiwán, las personas que vienen al centro, a quedarse en los centros, no en la casa de los iniciados, aunque es una casa con iniciados, con personas que están iniciadas, y esa casa tiene tal vez muchos cuartos y hay suficiente espacio y hay muchas facilidades.
And also in many centers in America also.
Y en los centros de meditación en América sucede igual.
They would rather take a tent to come to any center and camp and live in a little bit of very simple life and lacking many facilities than to stay in a big house in the city.
prefieren tomar una tienda y venir al centro a vivir, aunque la vida sea un poco más difícil y más dura que quedarse en una casa en el centro.
But it is different taste, you know. People have different taste.
Pero son diferentes gustos, las personas tienen diferentes gustos.
Now in Taiwan, for example, many people go to work in the daytime and then camp and stay after work in any meditation center that is convenient and near to their job.
Por ejemplo, en Taiwán muchas personas van durante el día a trabajar, van a sus trabajos corrientemente y luego vienen y acampan, se quedan acampando en alguno de los centros en el que sea más conveniente para su trabajo.
Not that they don't have houses.
No es que no tienen casa.
Some of them have big houses and have a lot of property.
Muchos de ellos tienen grandes casas y muchas propiedades.
And many people who stay in Miaoli Center, in the headquarters in Taiwan, some of them are very important people.
Y muchas de las personas que se quedan, que viven en el centro de Miaoli en Taiwán, son personas muy importantes.
Or very rich.
O muy ricas.
But they stay in a tent.
Pero se quedan en una tienda.
And work like everyone else.
Y trabajan como cualquier otro.
In the center.
En el centro.
Now, anyone who stay in the Miaoli Center, they don't go out to work anymore. Those who stay there are decided to just to be there.
Ahora, las personas que se quedan en el centro de Miaoli no salen más a trabajar afuera porque están totalmente decididos a quedarse ahí.
Whether they are monk or not monk, they just stay there.
Monjes o no monjes, simplemente se quedan ahí.
But there are many other centers which people come to stay together, just to meditate together in the morning and evening and in the festival time, in the holiday seasons, and they go out to work when they have to work.
Pero hay otros centros en Taiwán donde las personas solo se quedan, o sea, salen a trabajar, meditan en la mañana y meditan en la tarde, o se quedan ahí en los días libres y en las vacaciones, y en el resto del tiempo salen a trabajar.
Now they say they feel better there.
Ellos dicen que se sienten mejor ahí.
Even though they have to go to work the same like before, but when they go back to the center, they know they're free, and they know there's only one business to do, is to wash, to eat, and then to go meditate together.
Y dicen que se sienten mejor ahí porque aunque tienen que salir y hacer su trabajo, saben que cuando vuelven solo lo único que tienen que hacer es trabajar, hacer un solo trabajo, comer y sentarse a meditar.
And they were very happy together.
Y son muy, muy felices juntos.
Everybody take a tent and come over there. just enjoy the atmosphere and the cleanliness of the air of those such meditation centers.
Cada uno toma su tienda y viene simplemente a disfrutar del aire muy puro y muy limpio, de la atmósfera muy limpia que hay en esos centros de meditación.
Because most of our centers in Taiwan or elsewhere are situated in a very clean surrounding and far away from, not very far away from the city maybe, but away from the inhabitants and away from the crowded and dense atmosphere of the city.
Porque nuestros centros están en Taiwán y en otras partes, nuestros centros están situados lejos, pero no exactamente lejos, sino separados de la atmósfera tan viciada y de los lugares tan llenos que son las ciudades.
Our center here is also very good.
También nuestro centro aquí es muy bueno.
We are only about 15 minutes or 20 minutes away from the city.
Estamos solo a 15 o 20 minutos de la ciudad.
But we have very clean air.
pero tenemos un aire muy limpio.
And quiet surrounding.
Y los alrededores son muy tranquilos.
For many miles, no houses, no great inhabitants, no great deal, no many houses.
A muchas millas alrededor no hay muchas casas y no hay muchos centros de habitantes.
But when we need something, we just 15 minutes drive.
Pero cuando necesitamos algo, estamos solo a 15 minutos por carro.
So it's really the best one.
Así que en realidad es el mejor.
Difficult to find such center anywhere in the world. We are away from the capital, but we are there in few minutes.
Es difícil encontrar otro mejor en el resto del mundo porque estamos lejos de la ciudad, pero en realidad estamos cerca de la ciudad.
In many capital of the city, you cannot find in the surrounding of the capital such beautiful places and such clean atmosphere and so near.
En muchas otras ciudades uno no puede encontrar una atmósfera tan limpia y un lugar tan tranquilo, tan cerca.
If this center is in Taiwan, it's crowded already.
Si este centro estuviera en Taiwán, ya estaría lleno.
Or people with cars, they would come and camp here.
O las personas con carros vendrían y se quedarían acampando aquí.
And without cars, they would come here too.
Y sin carro también vendrían aquí.
They probably will make friends with the car owners and say, look, we camp together and go to work together.
Tal vez se hubieran hecho amigos de los que tienen carro y vendrían juntos o irían a trabajar
And
juntos.
I will share the benzene with you, benzene price.
Y compartirían el precio de la gasolina.
They organize with each other like that.
Se organizan de esta manera entre ellos.
The Chinese people are very good organizers.
Porque los chinos son muy buenos organizadores.
And they help each other. Yes.
Y se ayudan entre sí.
They are a little bit more united.
Son un poquito más unidos.
That's why everywhere they go in the world, they make a good business.
Por eso es que en cualquier lugar del mundo que llegan hacen buenos negocios.
People are jealous of them.
Y las personas se ponen celosos de ellos.
But I have bought this land for over 1 year, and nobody came.
Pero yo había comprado este lugar desde hace 1 año y nadie había venido.
And I have to even take care of the land.
Y hasta que yo tuve que ocuparme de este lugar.
Spend a lot of money and time on it.
Y gastar mucho dinero y tiempo en él.
And then make it beautiful.
Y hacerlo hermoso.
And then maybe somebody will come later.
Para que tal vez alguien viniera después.
Some already come, huh? Rosemary.
Algunos
I don't know what's her name. Grace.
Grace or
You go back to him, huh? You go back to him.
Usted vuelva con él. Usted tiene que volver con él.
Every day I see you here. Who cooks for him?
Yo todos los días la veo aquí. ¿Quién está cocinando para él? I cook very early in the morning.
And then come here.
Y luego se viene.
And leave him to eat alone.
Y lo deja comer solo.
Too bad.
Qué malo.
Rosemary, she likes you very much.
A Rosemary le gusta aquí mucho.
And it's look better every day, huh? Our center, huh?
Y nuestro centro se ve mejor cada día.
Even the government likes it.
Hasta el gobierno le gustó.
They came to see us many times.
Han venido a vernos muchas veces.
Look at our center and feel very happy.
Vienen, ven nuestro centro, se sienten muy felices.
Yeah, that we have made it nice and clean and beautiful and preserved the nature and beautifying the surrounding and the mayor of this city say that we have made a good example.
Y ellos se sienten muy felices porque ven que lo hemos puesto bonito y lo preservamos y lo conservamos y preservamos la naturaleza. Y el ejecutivo municipal dijo que estábamos dando un buen ejemplo.
And then we plant many trees and water them, and they will grow into beautiful park.
Hemos plantado muchos árboles, los regamos y crecerán y se convertirán en un hermoso parque.
Where people destroy, we rebuild.
Lo que los demás destruyen, nosotros lo reconstruimos.
Now, we have not planted many trees, it's just about few hundreds, but later when it's rainy season, we'll plant more.
Por ahora no hemos plantado muchísimos árboles, solo unos cuantos cientos, pero cuando venga la época de lluvia vamos a plantar más.
We will plant thousands.
Y plantaremos miles.
I am very impatient.
Yo estoy muy impaciente
with the trees.
Con los árboles.
They have only, I would say, the height of two persons.
Porque
4 or 5 meters, no?
Porque apenas tienen el tamaño de como 2 personas, que son 4 o 5 metros.
And some of them are like that.
Y algunos apenas son de ese tamaño.
And I saw 1 or 2 like this.
Y 1 o 2 son como así.
I asked them, well, why you plant all this? Until which year we can see them?
Y yo les he preguntado por qué los plantaron así, hasta qué año los vamos a ver grandes.
The grass here are even taller than me. And you plant this kind of trees.
La hierba aquí es más grande que yo y ustedes plantan esta clase de árboles.
But they tell me, Master, they don't sell big trees here in Costa Rica.
Y entonces ellos me dijeron, maestra, es que aquí en Costa Rica no venden los árboles ya grandes.
We had a lot of trouble with them when we can buy these few of the big trees. They don't sell them. They were surprised at anybody who would buy them. And we buy them from there once, and then we became famous. Everybody knows that we buy so many trees and big trees. Never before in their history they buy such a big trees.
Y le dijeron, maestra, es que aquí no se venden los árboles grandes. La gente estaba muy sorprendida de que nosotros fuéramos a comprar árboles grandes. Tuvimos grandes problemas para conseguirlos y cuando por fin los conseguimos, hicimos fue tal la sorpresa que todo el mundo se enteró y tuvo que ver con la gente que había comprado los árboles grandes.
They have the big trees there only so that they can divide it into small trees and then sell the small trees. And now we take the whole big trees away. They were hesitating to sell them. And after they sold them, all of the same business know our names. We became very famous. Trees eaters.
Porque los árboles ellos los tienen para ir sacando hijitos del árbol y ir vendiéndolos, pero nunca habían vendido los árboles, entonces no sabían de veras si venderlos enteros o sea, los grandes o no, y estaban tan sorprendidos que hasta que toda la gente en el negocio de los árboles ya sabe nuestro nombre.
Now they can, but we can only buy big trees in these kinds. We couldn't buy in other kind even.
Pero nosotros solo pudimos comprar esta clase de árboles grandes, otra clase de árboles grandes no conseguimos.
That's what they told me.
Eso es lo que me dijeron.
I don't believe it, but I have to.
Yo no lo creí, pero bueno, tuve que creerlo.
Maybe I have to go and see to myself.
Tal vez yo tenga que ir y verlo por mí misma.
No. In Taiwan, we plant very big trees, adult trees. Some trees we plant like this big already, and about 5-6 people's height.
En Taiwán,
big trees like this, no?
In
Taiwan.
En Taiwán nosotros hemos sembrado arbolotes muy muy grandes, como así de este ancho y como del tamaño de 5 o 6 personas.
Yes, and we plant many palm trees. We take the whole palm trees, which already high and already big. We plant many lines like this of palm trees. Big coconut trees, we move the whole trees and nuts and everything over there.
Hemos plantado muchas palmeras cocoteras, ¿verdad? Y cogimos toda la palmera ya crecida y todo y nos la llevamos con cocos y todo y la sembramos.
And I'm already not patient enough to wait for them.
Y yo francamente no tengo paciencia ya para esperar.
Because you know, when you move a tree, then you have to cut their hair and have to trim the roots and some of the leaves do become yellow, some of them for a while, and their hair were not so long, you know. And I'm very impatient. It takes so long time for them to recover. Even then, they are big, you know. Even if they are big, but it takes a long time for them to become normal again. And I was already impatient, let alone these kind of minimized trees, or pocket trees, I call them. What for?
Porque ustedes saben, yo aún con los arbolotes grandes estaba impaciente, porque cuando uno planta un árbol grande tiene que cortarle el pelo y tiene que cortarle un poco las raíces, y cuando lo vuelve a plantar tal vez daña un poquito y algunas hojas se le ponen amarillas, y aún así yo estaba impaciente por verlos bien los árboles. Ahora cómo estaré con estos árboles de marioneta que trajeron aquí, con estos árboles de títeres.
Yes.
Estos árboles de bolsillo que trajeron.
Just like pocket dictionary. You take everywhere you go, take with you.
Son como los diccionarios de bolsillo que se llevan a todo lado.
I won a park yesterday even. I want to make a park yesterday.
Yo quería echarme uno en el bolsillo ayer. ¿Qué? ¿Park?
Yes, a park. Park?
Un parque ayer. ¿Qué fue un parque?
National park.
Fue un parque nacional ayer.
This is international park.
Este es un parque internacional, but we are in.
Yes, I know. When we first built it and apply for the permission, they say, but we are, this is a national park, you cannot do this and you cannot do that. They were so stupid. They should answer, yes, but we build an international park. The same thing. And it's just bigger dimension, a greater dimension.
Sí, ya sé que nosotros, porque este centro está dentro de una reserva nacional, sí, ya sé que estamos en una reserva nacional, claro, si cuando pedimos los permisos nos dijeron que no a todo, porque esto era un parque nacional, que no aquí, no se podía hacer esto y no lo otro, en lugar de habernos dicho, sí, háganlo todo y conviértanlo en un parque internacional.
No, it's true, ¿no?
No es así.
Yes, claro. We make even greater.
Lo hemos
park.
hecho inclusive más grande este parque.
Greater use.
Y le hemos dado un mejor uso.
And make it more beautiful.
Y lo hemos hecho más bello.
They have cut too many trees here and make everything barren.
Porque habían cortado demasiados árboles aquí, lo habían dejado todo como calvo.
Now we try to rebuild.
Y ahora estamos tratando de reconstruir.
Well, we can only rebuild where we are allowed. Only in our land. Other land we cannot take care. It's a pity. Otherwise we plant all the trees in all Costa Rica.
Bueno, nosotros podemos rehacer y reconstruir donde nos dejan, porque de otra manera estaríamos sembrando árboles por todo Costa Rica.
And make Costa Rica beautiful.
Y haríamos a Costa Rica bella.